Today's Toy Spot, we're having a look at the Hasbro Marvel Legends Infinite Series Soldiers of AIM Baron Zemo. Zemo comes with the other arm required to build Mandroid, though unfortunately, until you get the second wave of figures coming out, you can't build a Mandroid. You kind of have a head and some arms. Baron Zemo does also come with a hand pistol and also a sword. It's a very nice touch. I don't know what it is. Spot's always been a big fan of Baron Zemo, even though he called him Baron Von Zoom, I think, in one of his earlier videos, but Baron Zemo has always impressed me. I don't know what it is. I just really like that hood. Really always liked that hood. It looked ridiculous, and you know what? I guess maybe in the original Captain America cartoon, way back, what, in the 50s or so, he looked ridiculous, but still, Baron Zemo has always been one of my favorites. On the side, there's Captain America artwork. On the other side, if you missed it, there's some more Captain America artwork on the back, on this side. Speaking of the back, Soldiers of AIM, the brilliant minds behind AIM, ruthlessly bend the laws of nature in pursuit of ultimate power. If you are interested in collecting and building the Mandroid, you'll have to get this wave of figures, which include the Marvel Now Captain America, the Agents of Hydra, the Soldiers of AIM, and then the rest of the figures that are the more movie property figures coming soon. I say coming soon, but they're already out as far as I know. What I will do, and I'm not going to say anything about the fact that it doesn't say Baron Zemo down below. I think it's still ridiculous, but what I am going to do is take a break. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to get this opened up, and when we come back, we are going to get a better look at the Legends Infinite Series Baron Zemo. There's more heading your way, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. So, Baron Zemo does come with the other arm for Mandroid. Just as a comparison, though it's somewhat irrelevant. There's the two arms for Mandroid. One came with the Soldiers of Hydra, whether you got him with the Hydra Soldier or from the Red Skull. And of course, the same duplicate arms you're going to get from the AIM, Soldiers of AIM. So you're going to get the AIM Soldier, and you're going to get, Baron Zemo. It's just a shame that you're getting duplicates of the same pieces for one Mandroid that you're going to be able to build. It makes no sense, but I guess as other custom pieces go, you could probably even make use of these extra arms, the extra arms that you might get in this set. You could probably build like a Ironmonger. Would be kind of cool if you had the extra piece. You can make an Ironmonger out of them. Maybe, I don't know. You'd obviously need a lot more. Maybe you could even just put robotic arms on Zemo. But that would be ridiculous. Some nice detailing though on the arms. I love these little mini guns that he's got on the arm itself. And once again, some really nice paint. The gray, though, really reminiscent of the Ironmonger that we got from the Iron Man movie figures, the 6-inch figures. I think the same exact coloring, really, as far as I know. But there's the arm. I'll move this to the side, and hopefully we can finish a Mandroid at some point during these reviews. Other accessories you get with Zemo, you get yourself a little hand pistol, which it actually has an interesting looking handle. Almost kind of has like a leopard print kind of design to it. So it takes what would normally be just a straight out gray gun, perhaps boring in coloring, and just by adding this handle, you've got some extra interesting oomph to the gun itself. Also, you get yourself a sword. Both the, well, I should say the handle of the sword matches the coloring of his gauntlet, of his gloves and his boots. Some nice detailing. The figure itself doesn't seem to have multiple areas where you can hold the weapons. He's got one holder on the side, which would either be a sheath or a holder for the gun. You can put the sword in, but it will stick out quite far. You could also put the handgun there, which fits a little bit better, but you probably won't see many gun holders open at the bottom. So I would say it's designed likely for the sword. It's just, you know, the sword's going to stick out quite a bit. He does hold both weapons. One hand you can kind of see is designed for the handgun, the way that his finger is kind of positioned. The other hand, and I shouldn't say that, I mean both hands would hold his weapons. One's, you know, you can have for the sword as well. He's a beautiful looking figure, that's one thing I'll say, although I don't think Zemo would appreciate that I'm calling him beautiful. But he is a really neat looking figure. It's remarkable, though, for the agents of Hydra and the soldiers of AIM. Both their respected leaders are really some of my favorites from this line. Red Skull is a beautiful figure, and Zemo, just loving the look of him. Moving this out of the way. Now, the only thing I don't like about the Marvel Legends as a whole, which is something like the Marvel Select do very well, is scale. There's Zemo, and there's Red Skull. Red Skull is taller than Zemo, and I think Zemo is quite a bit taller, maybe about there, versus Red Skull. That may or may not be right, but I know he is a taller figure, a taller character. And even as a comparison, I'll just bring the camera down here a slight bit, even as a comparison, there is Marvel Now Captain America. Again, I feel like Zemo should be taller than Captain America and not so much the same height. They do look like they are pretty much the exact same height. One better as well, if we bring in the soldiers of Hydra, or the agents of Hydra, the Hydra Soldier, they look like they share the exact same body. From head to toe, obviously just changing out the holsters. Zemo's got the additional little cloth running at the front and back. But aside from just that and a couple of change-ups in the boots area, it looks like they share the exact same bodies. Which is fine, but again, like you're kind of dismissing scale, which is something that bothers me slightly. I like to see kind of a range in sizes, but really you could say the same thing for DC Universe figures. Aside from the figures that you're building, the Collect and Connect figures or the Build-A-Figures, those figures always vary in sizes. The figures themselves generally use a lot of the same components. So you're ultimately getting a Baron von Zemo, which I think is a little shorter than what he should be. Paint, though, on him is really nice. The only section that kind of is intriguing me is his forearms. His forearms right where the gloves are located. He has a lighter plastic that's on his forearm, and I don't know if that's right or not, or if it's just simply because they were going to put the glove on that it wasn't really relevant that they could match the color to the rest of his arm. But it is a lighter purple than the purple that makes up the rest of his body. His face is nice though, and one of the reasons why I love Zemo so much, I think even from like the old Marvel Series 2, Series 3 trading cards that I used to collect, there was just something about Zemo that I always really loved. Maybe it's just because he had this kind of pinstriped mask that he wore. There was always something interesting. Couldn't quite put my finger on it, but there was always something really interesting about the character. And I think the Marvel Legends version of him really looks nice. He has this cloth, this kind of, I don't want to say like a loincloth, but he's got a cloth that runs on the front and runs on the back, and some nice detailing there. It's a harder plastic, but it doesn't really hinder any sort of the articulation, because once again, the figure is using the same articulation as the newer Marvel Legends. I love that. Once again, it kind of makes for a wonky, kind of loose figure. Articulation, though, on Baron Zemo, he does have the ball joint hinge. So once again, his head rotates very well on that hinge, but the very top of the hinge is that ball joint. So once again, you get a lot of movement out of this head. He's got the upper torso crunch, rotation in the waist, despite the fact he's got all the belt and the pockets and everything else. He still moves very easily at the waist section. His shoulders are on the hinge sockets as well, so they rotate out, of course, front and back. Rotation in the bicep, a nice double bend at the elbow. double bend, kind of a pivot and rotation in the wrist. Hand rotates all the way around. Also, you probably will notice right away too, his hands, different color than his gloves. Not sure why. It looks like the hand was sculpted in yellow plastic. The glove was painted plastic. This could have and should have really been matched a little bit better than this, but it's on par really with that forearm section. And then as for his legs go forward, back, out. His rotation in the thigh, double bend at the knee, and rotation in the boot, bend at the foot. Happy with the figure. Really happy with the figure. It turned out solid. It's got a few hiccups, like the discolorations in the hands where they don't quite match. Some paint, a little bit of an issue. And I guess my biggest problem is I just wish he was a little bit taller. But I mean, that's pretty much on par with the territory of Marvel Legends. Because you're releasing these figures as lines, they don't tend to be of different scales. They're really reusing components. But the trade-off, though, is you get multiple figures. You get figures of different different lines, different series. Figures that you might not normally get, you get because you're trading unique sculpts for more characters. And I guess that really is the ultimate debate, whether trading out multiple characters for very distinct sizes and everything else. Again, that's probably something that we're going to be continuing to debate for years to come. Marvel Select Baron Zemo would be a cool piece to ever see, but in the meantime, I'm really loving the look of him. This Zemo paints good, aside from gloves, and he looks cool. I'm gonna give Baron Zemo an 8. He has a few hiccups once again, but overall, I'm happy with how the figure turned out. Today's Toy Spot, we're having a look at the Marvel Legends Infinite Series Captain America. We're looking today at the Soldiers of AIM. I keep getting those confused. Soldiers of AIM, Agents of Hydra. We're looking, though, at the Soldiers of AIM. We're looking today at Baron Zemo. Spot just had a memory lapse. Baron Zemo. There you go. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's going to have more Toy Spots heading your way. We still got the review of the AIM Soldier. He's going to be heading your way as well. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.